Hi, my Start at Homies. Today I'm going to show you guys how to fill holes with Bondo. Now Bondo is usually used on cars, but it works great if you need to fill a hole and then paint over the top of it. I wouldn't recommend Bondo if you are filling a hole in wood and then you're going to stain over the top of it, as Bondo doesn't stain. But if it's a painted surface, it works great. So let's get started. So here's what Bondo looks like. It is pretty stinky, so you want to use it in a well-ventilated area. The way Bondo works is that we will stick this in here, and then we are going to add a hardener to it. So this cream hardener, once it mixes with this, is going to begin to harden this. So you don't want to mix up too much Bondo at the same time, because it can harden a little bit faster than you would like. And the more hardener you put in, the faster it's gonna. Oh, I may even put a little bit too much. So then we're gonna mix this up. Okay. Now, I always like to work with 2 spatulas, or I guess putty knives, because I like to kind of get it into a ball and then kind of work with it here for a minute. And the reason I like to do that is because it gets all of the air pockets out of the Bondo. So when I stick it down in these holes, it will dry better and sink less. All right, that looks good. Move this out of the way. We will start right here. So we're just going to apply it like this. Now when you're applying this, I like to kind of smooth it out, but then go back and put a little bit more over the top. The reason for that is then when I go back and sand this, I can get it to a really nice, smooth finish. All right, now for this hole, that's where it gets kind of tricky. Push it down in there real good. Okay, so as you can see with both of these, I filled it a little bit over the top, which is great because then if it sinks just a little bit, it'll be okay. When I sand it, I'll have enough to sand down and still create a really smooth finish. So I'm gonna let this harden and then I will come back and sand it down. All right, now that the Bondo has dried, I am going to use my sander and I'm just gonna sand this down. I'm using 100 grit sandpaper. Now, sanding Bondo is a mess, so I do use my vacuum cleaner. All right, so now as you can see, it's nice and smooth. There's one little spot here that's a little bit sunk a little bit more than I would have liked it to be, but I can always go back and fill that in again if I want to. So I'll just keep sanding all this down. Once you have sanded down your Bondo so it is nice and smooth with no bumps or dips, it is time to prime. I like to use Zinsser primer. I buy mine at Home Depot, but it can be found at most home improvement stores. To prime the Bondo, simply apply a thin layer of primer and let it dry. Once the primer is dry, your floor is ready to be painted however you would like.